Hey, what's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and you're here for your free picks for Sunday, September 17th. Well, guys, we had a very busy Saturday. Sunday is not as busy, but still there's 10 or 11 free picks for you in this video from the European football. For more free picks, go to the Pickdawgz YouTube channel, of course, check it out, hit that like button, guys, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss some free content. And as for my best bets goes, hit that link below the video in the description. That will get you up to my page on the Pick Dawgz website, and there you can sign up, get that daily pass, 3-day pass, or even a 7-day pass, which will get you covered all the way into the next weekend. And we know that we have the Champions League going on the next week. We have the Europa League, Conference League, and so on and so on. Let's get this show on the road, guys. We have a couple of games in the EPL, and the first one is between Bournemouth and Chelsea. Now, Bournemouth has been decent so far this season. I think they are still winless in the EPL. However, they did get a win in that Carabao Cup against Swansea. Uh, yes, they have been struggling quite a bit, but overall, I think that they are a decent team. They have been hit by injuries a little bit, but Chelsea has been pretty much in the same boat, even worse. Chelsea is missing like 10 or 11 players because of the injuries, and the good thing, I guess, for Chelsea is the fact that they've signed like 20 players in the off-season, so they definitely have the depth. Chelsea has also been all over the place so far this season. They're coming off of a loss against Nottingham Forest. Um, Before that, they have beaten Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup. They have beaten Luton Town in the EPL. And overall, they are the better team here. And I hope that this international break has done them some good because I will take Chelsea on the money line at minus 134 right now. Hopefully, that price goes down a little bit more as we approach the game time. But minus 134 on the better team is definitely not a bad price. And I'll give it a shot with Chelsea. It's not gonna be for a unit or half a unit. It's gonna be for way less because I know I said I will fade Chelsea, but I think this is a decent price to take. Everton will be playing against Arsenal on Sunday, and Everton is actually now on a positive streak. They have beaten Doncaster 2-1 in the Carabao Cup, and then they did get 2-2 draw against Sheffield before the international break. As far as Arsenal goes, they are actually still undefeated this season. They have 3 wins and a single draw so far in the EPL. They are playing in the Champions League next week against PSV Eindhoven. They're playing at home, which is good news for them, which means that they don't really have to rest that many players. And even if they do end up resting some players, this is a team that has plenty of quality on the bench and depth as well. So I'm gonna go with Arsenal in this one, but we have to add some goals to it because they are pretty heavy favorites. So I'm taking Arsenal to win and over 1.5 goals at minus 150. Now we are moving on to Spanish Liga, guys, and we have Villarreal playing against Almeria. Now, Villarreal has recently fired their head coach after a series of bad results, and they are on a two-game losing streak right now. 4-3 loss to Barcelona at home, 3-1 loss to Cadiz on the road, and it was a time for a change. Luckily for them, they're now facing Almeria, one of the worst teams in the league, the team that has scored only one. Actually, they have scored 4 goals, conceded 9, but they're still winless so far this season, and they are not that good on the road. So I think that this is a very good chance for Villarreal, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take Villarreal to win, but I'm gonna take it on the Asian line minus one, which is minus 141. I think that the worst we're gonna get here is gonna be a push, but honestly, with the new head coach, I think that this team is definitely due for a nice performance. So, Villarreal minus one at minus 141. Sevilla is hosting Las Palmas in the next matchup, and these are two very struggling teams. Sevilla hasn't won any of their last 5 games. Las Palmas hasn't won any of their last 6 games, and these are two bottom teams. Now, it's worth noting that Sevilla is still without a single point in La Liga this season. They are playing in the Champions League next week against Lens at home. They definitely need a win here to end that losing streak, to get back on the winning track, to give their fans some hope and even themselves to raise that morale in the club. And they're facing a very bad team in my opinion. So this is a great opportunity for them. I'm gonna take Sevilla on the money line, minus 175. That's pretty much all I'm willing to take out of this game until Sevilla gets their act together. So I'm taking Sevilla on the money line. Real Madrid and Real Sociedad is the final game of the day in La Liga, and I think it's going to be a great one. Now, when playing at home, Real Madrid hasn't lost to Sociedad in their last three games, but Sociedad is actually undefeated in their last seven games. Now, they are missing a few players because of the injuries, and they are also playing in the Champions League next week against Inter, which makes me think that since they are playing at home, I think that we will see quite a few rotations here from Real Sociedad, despite the fact that they're playing Real Madrid. Real Madrid has four or five injured players. Definitely some players of those would be in the starting lineup here, but I think that's the team that has a lot of quality on the bench. And if they choose to rotate, if they choose to give a break to some of those players, I still think that they have enough to beat Real Sociedad here. So I'm taking Real Madrid on the money line, minus 157. Might even put it in a double with Sevilla on the money line to get uh, a nice plus money out of these two games. Off to the Italian Serie A, guys. We have Fiorentina playing against Atalanta, and this is a matchup between two teams that are quite decent, in my opinion, quite solid. But two teams that are quite sloppy on the defensive end so far this season, even though they have been playing nice soccer, even though they have been on a positive streak, they had more positive results than losses. I still think that both teams see this game as a potentially as a chance to get a win out of it. And we know that both teams are playing in the Europe next week, in the Conference League and the Europa League as well. But that's on Thursday, and they will both try to get a positive result out of this game to stay on top of their form to get into the Europe as good as possible. So I'm going with both teams to score in this one, minus 159. I think it. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 1-1 result here, to be honest, guys, which is why I'm careful and I'm not adding over 2.5 as well. But I wouldn't blame you if you do it. So, personally, Fiorentina against Atalanta, both teams to score. Roma will be hosting Empoli in the next matchup, and Empoli on a four-game losing streak, still without a scored goal this season at the bottom of the table, three losses in three games. While Roma hasn't been that much better, they are actually still without a win so far this season in Serie A. And this is definitely a great opportunity for them. They're mostly healthy. All of their key players are ready to play. They need a win ahead of their Europa League game that they have against Tiraspol next week on Thursday. And I think we can expect a different Roma here after this international break. They're definitely due for a nice performance on both ends. So I'm going to take Roma to win it over 2.5 goals, plus 112. I think it's definitely worth a shot, especially in this nice plus money. In German Bundesliga, guys, we have a couple of games as well, and the first one is between Heidenheim and Werder Bremen, two of the worst teams in the league so far this season. And even though Werder Bremen is now actually on a two-game winning streak, they have surprisingly beaten Mainz 4-0, and then they have beaten Borussia Mönchengladbach in a friendly game during the international break. However, I'm still not convinced that their defensive problems have gone away, especially after the international break. Now, Heidenheim has been pretty bad so far this season. They're still winless. Uh, Without a single win in their last four games, but when playing at home, they haven't lost to Werder Bremen in their last three games. And the last game they played was in Bundesliga 2 back in 2022. And I think that Heidenheim sees this game potentially as a shot to get a point or maybe even all three at home. So I expect quite the entertaining matchup between these two teams. Both teams to score in over 2.5, minus 115. That's going to be my pick for this one. Darmstadt and Borussia Mönchengladbach is the next matchup in Bundesliga that we have, and these are also two struggling teams. Um Darmstadt hasn't won any of their last nine games, and I do understand why the books are favoring Borussia Mönchengladbach here, who hasn't won any of their last four games. They are actually on a three-game losing streak, and they haven't been that great on the road when it comes to Bundesliga over the last few years. But they definitely are the more experienced team. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if either team gets shut out here. So, and I think that It might be Darmstadt, to be honest, which is why I'm not going to take both teams to score, but I'm going to take over 2.5 goals. It's minus 132. Both of these teams are definitely due for a breakout performance. They're definitely due to have a good game, to create some chances to score some goals. Whether that's going to happen or not, I guess we'll see, but I'm going to go with goals in this one, and that's over 2.5 goals at minus 132. Off to the French League One, guys. We have Lorient against Monaco in the first game of the day, and I'm keeping this one very, very simple. Monaco has been tearing it up in this early season. They have been scoring a ton of goals. They have 13 goals in first four games of the season, and they have been conceding a lot as well. Now, Lorient hasn't been at the top of their form, but they're definitely more than solid, especially at home. So I'm gonna take a bit of a risk here, and for as long as Monaco is winning their games, I'm gonna take Monaco to win and over 2.5 goals, and that's plus 135, which is an amazing price on the better team in my opinion. Marseille will be hosting Toulouse in the next matchup, and this is a game between two teams that are playing in Europe next week. Marseille is playing in the Europa League against Ajax. Toulouse is playing also in the Europa League against Union Saint-Gilloise. And I think that we might expect a little bit slower game here, especially in the first half. I think that both teams might focus a little bit more on defense to sharpen that defensive form. And then if something happens in the second half, we will gladly take it. But I think the first half is going to be pretty dull, in my opinion. So I'm going to take first half draw between Marseille and Toulouse, plus 170. I'm not excluding the fact that we might see some goals because we know that both teams have a lot of offense to show for. They haven't been showing it so far this season to the extent, but I think that we might in the end see 1-1, maybe even 2-2 result here. But I think the first half is going to end in the draw. And the final game of this video, guys, is between Lyon and Le Havre. Le Havre is the newcomer to the French League One, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that name incorrectly. I'm not speaking French, but so correct me if I'm wrong, but Lyon is coming into this game with a new head coach. They have been on a terrible streak. They haven't won any of their last 8 games, but they are still the better team here than Le Havre is, and they are playing at home, which is going to be a huge advantage for them. And it's not often that we get a this nice of a price on the home teams here. So I'm keeping it simple. I'm just taking Lyon on the money line, minus 148 should be an interesting game for them, and they're definitely due to snap that losing streak they are on. So hopefully Lyon steps up at home in front of their fans, and hopefully they finally get a win against Le Havre. So I'm taking Lyon on the money line. That's it, guys. Thank you for joining me here. These were free picks for Sunday, September 17th. I hope you have a great weekend, guys. I wish you good luck with your bets. And of course, stay tuned for more free picks coming up to the Pickdawgz YouTube channel soon.